Hey, it looks like we've got a few people joining us tonight. Thank you guys for joining us on a Tuesday after the big snow melt up here in beautiful North Georgia. And we're going to take just a couple more minutes, wait for a few more minutes for folks to get here. Thanks so much for coming. William, you've got a couple things you can share real quick. We'll get a couple people to participate a little bit. We've put the see if I can get my slides to go. We've got everybody on mute, and but the chat box is open, and we certainly want you to use that tonight. Write any questions in there as well, and we'll try to get to them, if not during the presentation, certainly at the end of the presentation. William, you've got a couple things. We've got a little screen up here. I love this screen with the night group. Every home is a castle, and that's why we're calling this the castle selling webinar. Now, if you came in here thinking we were going to sell castles in England, talk to me or DM me and we'll help you buy one, that's for sure. But primarily, we're going to be talking about home selling tonight. William, tell them what we're doing, okay?
Yeah, of course. Happy to have everybody on tonight. We're excited to get into it. We have some really good information about selling your home and everything that entails on these slides. But first, as people are joining, let's just make it interactive. You can turn your camera on or off. It's up to you. We'd love to see y'all's faces. Um, you all guys are muted just so we can go through things a little faster. And but if you have any questions, go down to the chat box, um, and you can type in any questions. Also, if you are listening on your phone tonight, you might turn it sideways just so you can see the slides a little bigger, just to help yourself. And if you have maybe a question or something along those lines, you can react, go down to the react button, raise your hands. But yeah,
Perfect. And a couple other things, like we said, write those things in the chat box here. Just to check out the chat box and check out the little heart button or the thumbs up button, go ahead and click a little thumbs up if you're happy that you're here tonight and that the technology is working, okay? If you don't mind. And then we'll just make sure everybody's kind of hearing us out there. If you know where to do that on the chat, that'd be great. And also, if you don't mind, maybe you can tell us where you're from, if you'd like, what town or what area you're living in now. Maybe you might want to tell us if you've ever sold a home before, and then what your time frame might be if you're thinking of making a home sale, whether it be this spring or this summer or in 5 years. That's okay too. But go ahead and put a little comment in there so we know that you're on board and that you're able to make the chat work. Okay. Appreciate it. We got a few chats from a few folks there, but at least say hi to us so we know you're listening. If you're having any trouble with the technology or if you can't hear something, please let me know that as well. All right. Well, we've got a lot of folks registered for tonight's program. We're not sure how many will come, but we're excited that you're here. Hey, thanks, Lynn, so much. Gainesville, that's great. We're right here in Gainesville as well, although we live in Forsyth County, so we kind of get the best of both worlds. And oh, everything's working. That's great. A couple of you are making comments. Go up in Cleveland, Georgia. That's wonderful too. Yeah, Buford, great. Welcome. Thanks so much for coming, Mr. Buford. It says iPhone 6. That's great. All right, thumbs up. Terrific. Well, we've got some other folks here as well. I don't want to take too much time tonight. We're going to start. We're going to cover quite a few things about getting a home sold in 2026. And I don't want to belabor the thought. We want to go right on in, if you don't mind. And some more people will probably join us as well. And we'll make a few comments as we go. Again, if you have questions that you are thinking of as we go, please put them in the chat box. Williams, my co-host, he's also my partner in business and he's also my son. He'll keep up with those questions and make sure we follow up. If we don't get to your questions tonight, if there's too many questions, we'll be sure to get back with you to answer your specific questions in person, by phone, or by email. Okay. Hey, again, good to see you guys. My name is Jeffrey Knight. My son is William Knight. We're the Knight Group up at North Realty Georgia. That's a company that's been around since 1995. And we've been in business, the family's been in business since 1955, starting down in Florida. We've worked in North Carolina, here in Georgia, and also in Florida. So we have enjoyed serving lots and lots of people through the years, and we hope that we can help you folks tonight. So the first question I just thought I'd ask are, how are you feeling tonight? How you feeling? You might write a comment on the chat about that too. Are you concerned about things when it comes to selling a home? Are you stressed out? That's a possibility. Are you intimidated? That's a real possibility. How about anxious? Anybody anxious out there? Yeah? Oh, I see a couple people. Oh, yeah. And then how about uncertain? Uncertain. Just write those questions in there and we'll try to address them. I know most people are concerned that are with us tonight, primarily concerned about one thing: the sale of your castle. Now remember, for the night group, every home is a castle, all right? And our goal is to get your castle or help you get your castle sold if that's your goal. There's 4 mutual objectives that we have. You and we would work together. We can be a team. Or certainly if you work with another realtor, another agent, you want to be a teammate with them. And we have the same objectives. The first is that we help you get the highest possible price for your castle. We help you sell that castle in the shortest period of time. We want to help you get the most favorable terms for that castle sale, and most importantly, with the fewest headaches. There's a lot of headaches that can come with selling a home because the home is one of your largest assets. So even though we're working together, we want to make sure that we're communicating. That's part of the teamwork side. So if you have questions tonight, write them in that chat box, or you can always call us at our office as well. So tonight, if you stay to the end, it's going to be a 45-minute webinar presentation. And at the end, after about 40 or 45 minutes, we'll go ahead and open for questions and we'll try to answer everything you put out there, okay? Spend about 15 or 20 minutes in answers to your questions. Tonight, also, if you stay to the end, we do have a few gifts for you that are going to add up to about $1,000, actually more than that, and for anybody that stays and decides to work with our team. All right, let's keep going. As I mentioned, that's a beautiful picture of myself. I don't know how that photographer got it that good. And of course, William, he's easy to take pictures of. We've been a combined business now for about 35 years. I've been a broker since, 1999, and helping lots of folks. My teams have helped a lot of folks as well. We own the business, North Realty, up in Dahlonega, Georgia. That's where our office is. But we live right down in the middle of Cumming and Gainesville. We serve the entire Forsyth and Hall County areas, Dawson County, Lumpkin County, and we even get down to some other areas as well, as far as Beaufort and Suwanee, those areas as well. Couple things about the family. We've got a family of 5. Lived here in North Georgia for almost 18 years now, actually I guess 19 years, and we love it here. If you're going to buy property or sell property and you're not sure who to talk to, give us a call. We'd be delighted to help. And we just created a brand new 40-page magazine about castle selling. I'm going to try to hold it up here so you can see it on my little side. We'd love to give you a copy of this, and we will. If we get together and we meet to talk about your castle sale, we'd be happy to give you a copy of that as well. All right? The selling process, real quick selling process, the first step through the 9th step first is a consultation. Sit down with us, sit down with a realtor, talk about what your goals are, discuss what your pricing thoughts are, your marketing concerns, putting a strategy together to help you get your house sold. The second step is the preparation step. Got to get the house ready. Then we start to market your home, and we want to give it a blitz of marketing. Then we get, showings. We're going to get offers. It's going to go into escrow. That's when we have it under contract. We're going to get a final approval on the mortgage or the lending. We're going to have a final walkthrough the day before, what we call the celebration. And the celebration is our goal to help you get to. There's 6 reasons a castle sells. The first, location. The second, market conditions. The third, price. Then terms, then the property condition, and market exposure. Now you have control over all of those except for 2. You really can't change the location unless you're in a double wide, and you really can't control the market conditions. They help to control the outcome of your home sale. All right. But even though those are the areas of the aspects of what's going to help your home sell, there are 6 keys that you do have control over. 6 keys to help sell your castle. The first is, and we'll talk about each of these tonight, the first is to define your goals. Determine what it is you want to do and your time frame and how you want to go about it. The second is to prepare your castle. The third is to set that price just right. The fourth is to promote the castle, provide incentives. We'll talk about those tonight. It's a different market out there. You've got to have some incentives nowadays. And last but not least, pick a team and pick the right team. But first, before we get into all that, I thought we'd give you a little overview of the real estate market the way it is in 2026. Here's an update of the market, and I'm going to give you an update kind of the whole national view, but primarily of Forsyth County. Now, as I talk about Forsyth County, a lot of these numbers relate also to Hall County, Dawson County, Lumpkin County, actually Gwinnett County. We're pretty close in all of these, but these are specific numbers just for Forsyth County, so you'll get an idea. The first thing I want you to note, if you'll look at this chart, is you'll look first over the left side and you're going to see how many buyers there are compared to how many sellers. The blue line, that's the buyers. The green line, that's the sellers. You notice up in the Northeast, they're doing pretty well. They've got more buyers than they do sellers. You get to the Midwest, it's pretty even, pretty balanced. You go out west, well, there's more sellers, more homes in the market than there are buyers. But look at the South, where we are. Look at that. There's a whole lot more homes on the market than there are buyers, at least in about the last 3 to 4 months market. Okay? And that's something to keep in mind. It used to be flipped. Used to be a whole lot more buyers looking at the inventory, which was really low. And what that caused was almost a feeding frenzy. If a house came on the market that was a good home at a decent price, you'd have 10, 15, 20 offers on that home within a day or two. Well, that market's gone. And it's not going to be back, from what I can tell and what the experts say, for a little while. So keeping that in mind, let's look at a couple things. First, mortgage rates. If you look at the mortgage rates, most prognosticators say that we're going to be seeing a gradual decline of those mortgage rates, getting them down below 6 into the 5s. In fact, in the last 2 weeks, they have just gone under 6, about 5.8, 5.9, depending on the type of mortgage, okay? So it's steady and it's sort of staying there, and that's a good sign. That means we have a pretty stable finance market. Now the government's trying to do different things. You never know what that's going to do to maybe improve things, but we're hoping it's going to improve it too, so we can get more buyers that can buy your home. The next thing you want to note is the moderate home price growth. Give you a little example. From 2020 to 2024, in a period of 5 years, home values increased almost 50%. That's 10% a year. Now that's phenomenal, but that's also really an artificial increase in the home values. I won't go into the details and the economics that are behind it, but we normally see about 3% increase in home values year over year. So this 50% was very artificial, and in some places we have homes that are, well, they're simply overpriced. We're starting to see a significant decline out in California, down in Florida, some other states like Texas as well. Here in Georgia, well, let me show you a few more things. Here's the median listing price per square foot of homes in Forsyth County. You can look over to the left. You say that green line back in February of 2025, the values were at about $233 a square foot. All right. You look at December, the home value, the pricing, the listing prices went down to $220 per square foot. That's because home sales slowed down. There were fewer buyers coming in because of the high interest rates and because of those high prices. And that had folks that were selling lower their prices significantly. In fact, we've seen about a 5.6 lower price for homes that have been on the market over the last several months. Now, on a $400,000 house, that's a little over 20,000. Gives you an idea that when we started back in June, if we priced a home at what we thought it should be priced at in June, and we didn't get ahead of the game and ahead of the market, we weren't going to sell those homes. And we had a lot of homes that expired. The listings ran out and the homes didn't sell. All right. Here's another statistic you might want to know about our area. In Forsyth County, currently there's 956 homes listed on the market for sale. That's a fairly good number. But if you look at the middle of that chart, you'll notice that all through May, all the way through October, the number of homes was right around 1,200 homes approximately. And that was pretty high because we didn't have that many buyers in the marketplace. All right. In fact, it was so high that as you saw that the prices started to come down. They simply had to. A lot of my clients, they ask me about how long do homes stay on the market. Back in 2021 and 2022, they were staying on the market for 5 or 8 or 10 days. Even last spring, we were selling homes in 20 to 25 days. Well, currently, homes are staying on the market a median of about 68 days. It's a little over 2 months. But that's the average, okay? That's the median, that's the middle. Some homes are out there for 4 months or longer. Some homes are selling in a shorter period of time, just to give you an idea. Now, if you have any questions about that, put those questions in the chat box and we'll get to it, okay? But I'd love to chat with you if you want to discuss all of this about this market. A couple of things, the number of homes with price reductions, you can see that real high peak up there in June and July and August. You had 500, 460, 430 homes that were lowering their prices. Now, think about that. We only had 1,200 homes on the market, and 400 to 500 of them were lowering their prices. So, this was a pretty slow market, although homes sold, and we can get your home sold, but that was kind of slow this past year. In fact, some folks have said that this past year, 2025, was the worst year for home sellers since 1995. That gives you an idea right there of what's been going on in our market. All right. What about your neighborhood? I mean, you say, Jeffrey, it's nice to know about what's going on in the world and interest rates and all that. What about my neighborhood? Well, if you'd like to know what's happening in your specific subdivision or neighborhood or just the area around there, well, raise your hand real quick. Put a hand up, put a little heart up so I know that you're paying attention and that this is something you might like to know. Anybody? I'm looking over here on my screen trying to see some. Oh, there's a thumbs up, thumbs up. Got a few of you there. Okay, great. Wonderful. Well, if you want to know what's going on in your particular area, we're going to give you a couple ways to discover it in just a few minutes, okay? But at any time, you're always welcome to contact William or myself. We can do some analysis. We can give you a good idea. We can even set you up with a very simple way you can keep up with what's happening in your particular area, all right? And that service is free just for you. Let's talk about defining your selling goals. This is really the first step, all right? What is it that you want to do? I'm going to send this little page out to everybody. I'm going to send it to your email. I hope you'll get it and take a look at it because these are some good questions to consider. Maybe you have a spouse or a family member or a friend or associate that's involved with you in the ownership of this home. Sit down with them. Go through these questions. These will be the questions that your realtor is going to ask you, and I will certainly ask you, because the more I understand about why you want to sell, the better we can help you get the home sold. All right? And you see some questions. Why are you selling your home? What are your favorite features of your home? What do you like most about the neighborhood? See, these are all questions to think about. If you can write those down, that will help us to market your house to other folks that might also want to live in a neighborhood just like yours. All right? So that's the first step. Decide what your motivations are. Second, prepare your castle for the marketplace. Get your house ready. The reason I've been talking to people since the fall about getting ready for the 2026 market is because it might take a week, it might take a couple months, it might take half a year to really get your home at a point where you can really see the best return on the investment you've made in your home. There's a couple interesting stories I remember. One of my associates, one of my agents, went out one time to a home. We had to go out and inspect this home. It was a vacant home, and it was owned by a bank. And he was going out, and he opened the door. And as he opened the door up to look in, right in the living room was a full-size grown wild hog. He ran out, closed that door, ran out. He called us real quick. He said, "Hey, there's a hog or a pig in the house. What am I supposed to do?" And we laughed, we laughed. And then we just said, "Well, get the pig out." That's the first step. And in some ways, that's the first step as you think about it, about us preparing our homes to get ready. Now, I know none of you have pigs in your home, or probably don't anyway, but there are little things that right now you have grown so accustomed to, you don't even notice them. I know I myself, I walk into our kitchen and there will be a little part of that laminate on the cabinet that's kind of coming a little bit loose, and there's our front doors a little bit tilted and a little sticky, and I don't pay any attention to those things. Well, might be time to have a friend or maybe a realtor come over and do a thorough analysis, kind of walk through, make some notes, and point some of those things out to you that maybe you haven't paid attention to lately. Because I guarantee it, those will be the first things that a prospective buyer are going to be looking at. Okay? So when I say get the pigs out, there it is. The second thing is we're going to repair, we're going to upgrade, and we're going to clean the home. First step, have a team like us, the Night Group, come over and do an evaluation. It's for free. We walk your home, we make a list, we talk to you about it, and make some recommendations. Also, you're going to want to have some pre-inspections before you put the house on the market. You may want to make some repairs before you begin to market your home. You want to determine which are the best upgrades, the most cost-effective upgrades, the ones that are going to give you the best return on investment. And you want to make that home sparkle before we put that on the market for you. All right? So the first thing is the castle evaluation. Like I said, we'd love to come over, give you a list of the cosmetic, decorating, staging, upgrade recommendations. But the second thing is I highly recommend, and I've been recommending this for 30 years, that you go ahead and have a pre-inspection of your home before you ever put it on the market. But you say, "Jeffrey, I know those buyers. They're going to come in, and after they get that contract and we've negotiated that price, they're going to have their own inspectors. And those inspectors are paid to find something." Well, they are. And even if you have your own inspection and you do all the work to make sure that it's in the right condition, those inspectors will probably find something because they're paid to. But you will have eliminated anything major. And it's the major things you want to make sure you don't have happen after you've come to a contract, after you come to a price, after you come to a great agreement and you're all ready to close. And then that inspector finds out that your air conditioning needs to be replaced or your roof needs to be replaced. These are things you want to avoid. So if you get that professional home inspection now, rather than wait for the buyer to do it, you're going to save money, you're going to save time, you're going to save hassles, and you may save the sale of your home. Well, what do you inspect? First, you want to get a general house inspector, home inspector. We can recommend some to you, or you can find somebody on your own. And that person is going to look at the general maintenance, the systems, the plumbing, the electric, the HVAC, the appliances, the garage door, the foundation. They're going to look to see, are there any issues? They're going to tell you what those are with a nice long multi-page report. And then you can make a decision about what you want to address now or how to effectively price the home, assuming that those things have not been addressed. Secondly, you might want to get a termite inspection. The first inspector can help you with that and give you some ideas. You also may want to have your roof inspected. The inspector might suggest that too. If you have a septic tank, you definitely are going to need to get a septic tank letter and inspection. If you haven't had it pumped lately, it might be something to do. Your HVAC, if you have an HVAC company that comes in every 6 months and changes those filters and checks it, you want to have them come in before we put that on the market as well. And if you have a particular home, maybe on the lake, a lot of my clients do, You may want to have a dock inspector come out and give that the once over as well. So those are important things to do before we put your house on the market. Secondly, what kind of home upgrades might return the best value? In other words, if you're going to invest some money in upgrading something, you want to make sure that you're going to get that money plus more back. That's the idea. All right. And we've got a little free book we're going to send to you. We'll send you a link in the email you gave us. Okay. And you can click the link. You can trust us on the link. Okay. But it's going to give you a way to go in and get this free, about 130-page book. It's all about home improvements. See if I can hold it so you can see it. Home improvements that improve values. Be happy to send that to you. And if I meet with you or my son meets with you, we'll give you a paperback copy of that book as well, okay? But here's a few things that book lists to avoid as far as improving. Number one, oversized kitchens. You know, people like kitchens, but making them kind of crazy big might be something that won't return on that investment. Carpeted bathrooms, not the best idea. Tiled countertops, cheap paneling, bold colors, you know, those pinks and greens and purples, might not be the best investment to sell your home. Now, they might be nice for you, but they might not appeal to some of those buyers out there. Converted spaces, sometimes taking that garage and making it into the man's cave, well, it might be time to make it back into a garage. You have to think through that. And too much landscaping can sometimes turn people off as well, and you might not get a return on that investment, though it might give it some pretty nice curb appeal. What are some improvements to go for? Well, here's some that will add value. Paint. Always paint. If you walk through your house with a careful eye and a flashlight and look at the paint on the interior of your home, look to see if it's time to get some new paint. Yeah? And make sure when you paint it, you paint in a neutral color. The folks coming in will never be turned off by neutral. They may be turned off by bold, bright, brash colors. Something to think about. Craftsmanship, bold front door. You know, if you can improve that entryway, that's the first thing people are going to see after they see your landscaping. Hardwood flooring or improved flooring. Maybe it's time for new carpet or new tile. Stainless steel kitchens are good. Patios and decks, always improve it. You can see a 70% return on that on average. New garage door might be something. Kitchen, bathroom, roof. All of these things are talked about in that book. So do me this favor. Let me know. Raise your hand or hit that little button if you think you might like to have that copy of that book. Would you? Real quick, just so I know who has an interest, because I hate to waste people's time, but it's a good book. It is something helpful. Okay, I'm seeing a few folks saying yes. All right, good, good. Well, we're going to send you that email and you'll be able to go right there. It's an ebook. You'll be able to look at it immediately. We'll get that out to you tomorrow. Okay. William, make a point on that. Make a note. All right. Let's keep going. All right, we just talked about getting inspections. We talked about going ahead and seeing what kind of upgrades we want to make. And the third, clean. You got to clean. I love these pictures. These are great. And I've got to tell you, I've walked into some homes that have been listed. They are on the market and they look like that top picture. And I've got to tell you, when I'm taking clients in for that, doesn't make me happy, doesn't make them happy. And I got to tell you, the home sellers are not happy because they're not going to get an offer. Instead, you want to make sure you clean. Get a professional company out to do the floors. Get a professional company out to do a deep clean of that home if you don't want to do it yourself. There's people out there. It's a great investment of your money to get that done for you. Make sure those windows are washed. I don't know about you, but in my house, they only get washed really inside and out about once a year, if we're lucky. Yeah. Next, power wash. Get that power washer out or invite somebody to come over. You can rent those things, but it's probably better to get somebody who knows what they're doing. Get the driveway, the power wash, get the sidewalks. They might be able to do the exterior of your home as well, and you may not have to paint the exterior of your home. So those are some things to do. Also, before you put it on the market and you have showings and people come to look at your home, make sure you do some cleaning again. I know it's hard. It's certainly if you have children, if you have dogs, that's something you got to kind of pay attention to, but it's very important to get the best value for your home. Declutter. Now, decluttering is something you can begin to do right now, even if you're planning to sell in 6 months or a year. You know, there's lots of things around that you could just go and say, well, let's just put these things in boxes or containers and put them someplace where they're out of the way. If you look at the picture on the left there, compared to the picture on the right, which of those would you buy? Everybody point to one or the other. I'm seeing a couple of you pointing. Yeah, yeah. So that'd be great. But if you're like my Aunt Judy would say, but I love my books. My Aunt Judy, well, I love her to death. She had more books. Well, she was a professional editor for a very large editing firm, a publishing house, but she had more books and she still does. But when it was time to sell her home, she had to go through and take those books and put them in boxes. You know, nobody's going to complain if you've got boxes that are all stacked up and put up in the garage, put up kind of neatly against the wall. Or you might need to arrange for a storage unit, or perhaps you could put some of your items that you don't use on a daily basis in the basement in boxes. People know you're planning to make a move, and that's not going to affect anybody at all. So that's something to start planning for. Where are you going to do that? And don't try to do it all in a weekend. Whew. Do it kind of gradually and get it done so that when it's time to put your house in the market, you're ready. All right? Real quick, there's one that a lot of folks enjoy nowadays. Well, that's called home staging. There are companies out. I don't have a company that does this, but we do know some we can recommend to you that will come and help stage your home. It really can make a significant difference. If you look at the pictures on the before side, on the left side there, and you compare them to the right side, you'll see how just the change of some colors, the change of the furniture, maybe just turning some lights on, putting up a different light fixture, just some things like that that are not unaffordable, but things that could be a good investment for you. And so I want you to think about what kind of things you might want to do to stage your home too. All right, we're going to keep going. Why do I want to do that, Jeffrey? I just want you to come and put a sign in the yard, put it in the MLS, and sell it. Well, we can do that for you too. But if you want to get the highest return, the highest value, the highest price in a relatively fast time, then you want to do the preparation necessary to get ready before we even start to market it. If you do these things, you're going to sell your house fast. You're going to sell it for top dollar. But what's the first step of preparation? Here it is. Schedule a consultation with either myself, my son, someone in my company, or if you have a realtor friend, get them to come out ahead of time. Don't think I'm going to wait. I'm going to sell my house in the spring. I've heard so many people say that we're going to sell their house in the spring. We don't need to talk yet. If you want to sell in the spring, I got to tell you something. It's already February. Our daffodils are already coming up. And in Georgia, March is the spring. So it's definitely time to move forward now. Okay? Private consultation with us, we do it by phone, maybe 10 or 15 minutes just to chat with you in private, answer your questions, okay? We can discuss your plans, your goals, your time frame. We'll schedule a time when we can stop by your home in person, give you our home evaluation. We can get you that neighborhood market report as well. And we're going to put a link. William, can you put that link in there? A link to a place where you can set an appointment right online. We make it simple. I think I can do it too. Let me see real quick. Oh, I think I've got it. I just put it in the chat box. If you look at the chat box, you'll see there's a little link, webinar, Lanier Property Team book. All right. Oh, I think that's the right. Yeah, that's the book, the schedule your appointment. Okay. And you can go in there and click that. We've got lots and lots of times available over the next couple weeks. If you can't schedule the next couple weeks, give us a call at your convenience. All right. I'm going fast. I got about 14 minutes and I've got a few more important things to say. Let me see here. Let me see if I can get that to keep going. There you go. All right. Now we're about to talk about one of the most important things. Pricing your castle to sell. Think about this. How is your asking price determined? A couple of things you need to know. The price you ask is the number one factor that determines how much money you're going to make and how quickly your house sells. That's just true. When you think about it, if I were to say, hey, I'm going to put my 2,600 square foot home with 4 bedrooms and 3 baths on the market, and I'm only going to charge $1, I'm going to tell you, it's going to sell real quick, but it's not going to sell for the most money. Somewhere there's got to be that balance. And where are you going to put that price makes all the difference. So how do we determine that? Well, I don't set the sales price. Your realtor's not going to set the sales price. You don't set the sales price, the ultimate sales price. The market sets the sales price. The market are all those buyers out there that are looking at the inventory, determining what they believe those houses are worth, and going and actually making offers and closing on homes. That's what determines the ultimate price of a home. So how do we come up with a way to set an asking price? Couple things. We're going to give you all the information you need, and we're going to help you reason through how to set the best asking price to get the most buyers into your home and to get the best offers. Dangers of overpricing. A lot of people say, well, Jeffrey, well, what if we just set our price way up here and maybe somebody will come? Well, maybe they will. But here's a couple of dangers of overpricing. Number one, most agents are not going to come see a home that are overpriced because agents know what the values are in the marketplace. And in fact, it reduces response. If a buyer's looking for a house and you've got a house that's worth about $500,000 in that range, okay, and all of a sudden someone comes along and they're looking in that range, but let's say we've set your house price at $600,000. Well, the folks that are in that $500 buying range are never even going to come aware of your home. They're not going to do it. You're going to miss interested buyers. It's going to attract the wrong prospects. It's going to sell your competition. Indeed, there's lots of agents through time who would take their buyers over to see 2 or 3 other houses, okay? And they would go and see a house that's overpriced, and they knew it was. It had 3-bedroom, 2-bath. It had nice features to it, and it was priced at, let's say, $400,000. Then they go right around the corner and they show them pretty much the same house, and it's priced $50,000 less. Which house are those buyers going to buy? Sure. Agents sometimes do that. I don't. I want to help my clients know what's available and show them all the homes, but that's what they'll do. So it sells the competition. It also causes appraisal problems because you and I both know that most buyers have to get a loan. And when you get a loan, the bank is going to require an appraised value by a third party that has no interest in the deal. And if that home does not appraise at the selling price or the price that it goes under contract for, then the bank's not going to give the money because you've got to sell your house to 3 different people. You got to sell it to agents, you got to sell it to the buyers, and you got to sell it to the bank. Keep that in mind. All right, I'm just going to go through this real quick. Here's how much money you can lose if you overprice your home. You'll see that. Look at that one on the right. If it's overpriced and it doesn't sell in the first 24 weeks, okay, you might lose almost $50,000. We don't want to do that. Now you say, well, why is that? Well, if you look at this chart right here, you'll see the activity. How many folks are going to come see your home each week of those weeks? You'll see that the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th week, that's when most people are coming. Why? Because there's buyers out there looking for your house right now. They want to find your house. It's not on the market yet, but when it does come on the market, they've seen everything else. Your house comes on the market and boom, all those buyers are going to come look. That's why you have the price right from the very, very beginning. Incredibly important. I can't stress how important that is. Okay, what doesn't affect value? Well, your purchase price. You say, but Jeffrey, I paid this much money. Doesn't matter what you paid. Doesn't matter. It's what the market says it's worth today. Certain improvements. You say, well, I put a pool in. Isn't that worth what I paid for it? Probably not. What about your need for money? Well, I wish my need for money affected how much people paid me, but it doesn't. What about the cost to rebuild your home? You know, if you say, well, it would cost more to build it than it's going to get when I sell it. Still doesn't affect the value of your home because your home is already there. What about what another agent said it's worth? I always have people say, but another agent said it's worth this. I say, well, that's fine. That other agent's not the market. The market's going to decide what your home is going to sell for. So how do we get it? How do we get the value for the home right? There's 4 ways to do it. Number one, you can get some ballpark estimates online. You know, Zillow and those kind of folks out there, they'll give you a range. But I always love the ranges. Let's say they'll say, well, it's worth somewhere between 410 and 500,000. That doesn't help you a lot. They always put a number right in the middle there, but that doesn't really help you too much. but it gives you kind of an idea. Second, we have a little system called the Home Pulse. It comes right off the multiple listing service, and I'll show you in a second, it can help you get a little bit better idea of what the value of your home is right now. We come and do a market analysis. So that's when William or I or our team will sit down, we'll actually pull up all the homes that are currently on the market that are just like yours, all the homes that have just sold on the market that are just like yours. We'll get those values, we'll look at the square footage, what was paid per square foot, all that information. We basically do an appraisal, but we're not appraisers. That's something you definitely want to have. And you might get a pre-appraisal. Pre-appraisal is a good idea. Hey, here's that home pulse real quick. You'll see, I love it. Here's a home estimate, but look at that range, 409 to 470. Woo! Well, everybody say, well, I like that 470 number, but that might not be what the market likes, okay? Notice, even this little home pulse thing, whoops, look at that. The Home Pulse will also kind of track it. You'll get a report every month and it'll show you, well, here's kind of where the home values are going and here's kind of what your value is doing. Sometimes that's a happy feeling. Sometimes, like the last 6 months, hasn't been very happy. It'll also give you the reason. Well, how did this come up with this? And it's going to show you the details there. And finally, you can even track your equity. You can put in how much you borrowed. You can put in how much is probably worth now and give you an idea of how much value you have, equity value of your home. All right. Listen, if you'd like a regular update of the value of your home, raise your hand right now. Put a little thumbs up, put a little heart up. How many of you would like to know what your home is worth? We're not going to keep you to it, but go ahead and just give us a thumbs up. Let us know. Anybody up there? I'm looking at my screen. We got a few people. Everybody else already, there's a couple thumbs up. Yeah. I like to know. I like to keep up with it. And if you're thinking of selling, it's a very important thing to know. All right, let's go ahead. I'm just going to go ahead real quick. I've already talked to you about some of these things and we're running out of time. I will say the value of a pre-appraisal, getting a certified appraiser to come and appraise your home before you put it on the market is a very, very smart thing to do. It helps to sell your house faster and for more money. It reduces those closing headaches because the banks aren't going to come say it didn't appraise out. It's going to establish an objective value. Sometimes we've gone as far for our clients to put the copy of the appraisal on the table where the folks are coming in, those buyers, they come in and they say, well, I'm not sure about the price, but there's the appraised value right there. Now, keep in mind, appraisals are only good for the day that they're written. 2, 3, 4 weeks or months later, that appraised value may change, may go up, may go down. But at least at the moment, it gives you a good feeling that you feel confident with your price. And feeling confident when you're selling your home, that's a great thing to do. Hey, let's see. Well, everybody's already waved at me. I know you want to be confident. You don't have to wave on the computer, but wave like that. Just say, yeah, I want to be confident in my price when I'm selling. It makes me sleep better. All right. If you want to do that too, schedule that consultation. Don't wait. Put that link in there again, Will, in the chat. If you will schedule a consultation, we will talk to you on the phone. Then we'll sit down and we'll do a full market analysis so we can give you the idea, an estimate of what we believe your home will sell for. If you'd like to do that, make sure you schedule an appointment tonight. Okay? Let's keep going. It's number 4 and I've got about 6 minutes. Now, and only now, do we launch the marketing blitz. We've done the inspection. We've done the repairs. We've done the upgrades. We've got it clean and sparkly. We've got the price set and a price strategy, whether we're going to keep the same price or we're going to lower it as we go or raise it. We've got it all figured out. We've had time. The realtors have had time to do all the work to prepare your marketing. Doesn't happen overnight. It takes me about a week and a half to 2 weeks to get all the marketing ready, and then we launch it. We like to launch it with a blitz. Here's a few of the things that we at North Realty Georgia do to sell our clients' homes. I won't go over this whole detail. Again, it's all in that magazine we have. We'll send it to you, and we'll be happy to tell you more about it when we meet. But a couple of the things we for sure want to do for you. We want to make sure that the photos of your home are spectacular. We have a wonderful professional photographer. We actually have a couple we use, and they'll come in, they'll take beautiful photos. There's a few of the photos that our photographer has taken of one of our recent listings there. They also will take and do a floor plan with a virtual tour. This little floor plan, a buyer can see that online. They'll see it on Zillow, they'll see it on homes.com, they'll see it all over the place. And they can click a button on there and they'll be able to see the pictures, a 360-degree picture of what they'd see if they're in your home. That saves a lot of time and it's gorgeous. We also do videos. Video is more and more, as you know, video is more and more the way that people learn. People don't read as much, but they'll certainly watch a short video. We always make about a 60 to 90-second video of every one of our houses we are marketing. We'll post it everywhere. YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, X's, all those places. And we keep it out there so we get people to know your house is for sale. We also put together digital marketing, and we make sure that your house will be posted on over 100 real estate sites, which is phenomenal. I remember when I first got into the business in 1995, there were no real estate sites. And I remember the fellow at the real estate convention saying, "Do you want a website?" And I said, "What's that?" That's how old I am. That's true. Yeah. But we'll do that to make sure that everybody knows your house is for sale. All right. We do something that most realtors don't do. My son is very good at this. We like to canvass the neighborhood. We will go knock the doors. Now, some people say we don't like people knocking our doors. Well, if you're the home seller, don't you want all your neighbors to know that your house is for sale and that we're going to have an open house coming in the next week or so? We want to let them know because a lot of times they've got friends and family. In fact, everybody out there knows at least one person thinking of making a move. So we want to make sure we canvass the neighborhood. We print up flyers and postcards, all that. We even use them to mail. We hand them out. We mail them out. We give you some. You can hand them to all your friends at your workplace, okay? We also will hold a starting weekend blitzy open house. Make sure we have perhaps an open house for agents to come to and an open house for buyers to come to. That will help to get more buyers into the funnel that will bring them to your home. Now, sometimes buyers we meet at other open houses are the buyers we actually sell your home. Sometimes buyers we meet at your home will buy another home. But this is how realtors work together to help buyers come and eventually help you make a sale. All right. Here's a couple things that we're doing right now. We've started to have 3 marketing packages. Quite frankly, I'm not sure how long we're going to have the lowest package here, but we have a lowest package at 1.5% commission rate, all right? And moves up to 2.5% commission and all the way up to 3.5% commission. We'll make sure that you see what those are and all the features, but basically the package number 1 is pretty basic marketing, all right? Package 3 is extensive marketing. And the reason we have to charge more is because it takes a lot more time and a lot more money to promote your home. But we've learned that, that higher level, that does get a better return and often sells houses for more money, okay? So take a look at that. That's something you might have a question about. We'll be happy to discuss that when we meet. All right. Would you please do me a favor? Be interactive now. Go ahead and put down in the chat box. Everybody write something. Don't sit there and just listen. Unless you're driving, don't do it if you're driving. But if you're just sitting there, write in the chat box, what is one important marketing component that you want to have to sell your home? What maybe out of that list that we discussed might be something you might want to have? Do you want drone footage, professional video, video tours? Do you want to have your home in both MLSs, not just one like some agents do? Do you want to have premium signage and lead-in signs? Are these things that you think might help? Put it down in the chat box so we know. And make a list of things so when we talk to you, we can make sure we can accommodate your needs. All right? Now I'm talking quick because we're almost out of time. Here's key 5. I didn't used to have to talk about this one. In fact, I didn't used to talk about this hardly at all. But this is something that's become more and more important. Remember I said that you've got to sell your house 3 times? You got to sell it to the agents, you got to sell it to the buyers, and you got to sell it to the lenders. Well, we're going to recommend today in 2026 that you decide to have some incentives. You're going to offer more than every other house out there. Now, why do we believe you've got to offer incentives? Well, one of the largest competitors you have are new home builders. Why new home builders are right now are offering amazing deals. They're offering much lower interest rates to buyers. They're offering to pay all the closing costs for buyers. They're offering to pay the buyer's agent commission. They offer all these things, and you and I are competing against them. You can't just say, well, we don't care what they're going to do. We've got to figure out how we can strategize to compete, even with new home builders. Something to think about. Here we go. Here's a few incentives for agents. Number one, pay the buyer agent's commission. When you get the magazine, it's going to tell you a little bit more about how that works. So I won't go into it all today, but it's something you're going to want to offer to do. It's what home sellers have done for the last 100 years, and people are still doing it. Going to pay that commission to the buyer's agent, the agent that brings the buyer to your home. Okay. Secondly, you want to pay a bonus to the buyer's agent. You might. Some people say, hey, if you can bring a buyer and get it under contract in the first 2 weeks, we'll pay an extra $1,000 or $2,000. Can't hurt. You want to provide an open house to agents. You want to be easy to work with. What do I mean by that? Well, you want to make sure you have a nice lockbox so it's easy for people to come and show your home. You want to make sure when you do show it, you have plenty of showing times throughout the day or weekends. And finally, you want to make showings great. So when they do come, take that time to come to your home. They open that door. They're like, wow, this is the home we want to buy. So these are some things to help incentivize agents. Secondly, we need to incentivize the buyers. Buyer incentives include this. Number one, why not offer a home warranty? You know, a lot of people are scared. Well, I'm not sure I want to buy that house. I just don't know about its condition. Well, if we say, well, we're going to give you a home warranty, that's going to cover those details for the first year. That's going to make folks feel a lot safer. Number two, we're going to pay your buyer agent's commission. You don't have to worry about that. Just like we've done for 100 years, we're going to do it for you too. Number three, we're going to pay some of your closing costs. A lot of folks who are buyers have money for the down payment, but they don't have that $5,000, $6,000, $8,000, $10,000 for closing costs. And that's something you might build into your pricing strategy, the ability to pay that. You also might give them some special offers. If you live near the lake like we do, you might want to go give them a free boat slip at a nearby marina if that's something that was important to them. You might give them a 1-year membership at the country club or the golf course. You might give them an allowance for upgrades or for upgraded landscaping. And last but not least, you might consider, especially today with the interest rates being so high, to offer to buy down their interest rate. That means you pay some money at closing. Once the house is closed, some of that money goes to pay the interest rate for the first, second, third year, or even longer. Here's an example you can look at. Don't have time to spend a lot of time on it, but for a $400,000 house at 6.5% interest rate, if that's what it was, now it's come down, fortunately, over a 30-year term, if you were to pay about $18,000 out of the proceeds of your home sale, okay, you were to pay that to the bank, then the buyers would have a 3.5% interest rate the first year, 4.5% interest rate their second year, 5.5% interest rate their third year. By their 6th year, it gets back up to 6.5. And the goal, of course, within about 4 years, 3 years, hopefully they'd have the opportunity to refinance at a lower interest rate. Okay? So that's an incentive. I highly recommend it. All right? Let me ask you this. We won't worry about you writing it in chat, but think about it. Which of those different buyer incentives would kind of get your attention if you were a buyer? What might you say, oh, I kind of like that if the seller would help me with that. Think about it. Make a list, write it down. That might be something we want to offer as we try to sell and as we do sell your home. Well, number 6, the last one, pick a great team. My son and I would love to serve you. We'd love to answer any questions you might have. You know, we always have 2 or 3 realtors on here. I know we have at least one realtor with us tonight. There's always coming on to our webinars and listening in. But we'd like to serve you. If you have an interest in selling your home, I want to encourage you, please go ahead, make a little appointment. We can chat one-on-one over the phone or by Zoom, get an idea of how we might be able to help you, answer any questions you might have. All right? Just because you made it to this point, will you make sure all the people on here that have made it to this point get a link for another free book? This is a little book that we put together about a year and a half ago or so. And this one is called How I Sell Homes Others Fail to Sell. Again, about a 130-page book, which will give you a much better idea of the kinds of things that our team does to help folks sell homes. All right? So, basic idea. If you have an interest in selling your home, why not give us a call or why not make an appointment tonight? You can go right over there. It does a little Google thing and you can put a little appointment there. We'll confirm that with you and we'll touch base over the next few days once you set that appointment. Now, I'm going to take some time just to review. Number one, things we're doing for folks right now. We're going to give you a free market updates. We're going to give our clients a house market value estimate. We're going to give you a good estimate of what you ought to price your home at. We're going to assess your home, look at the things that you might need to improve or upgrade. We're going to give you a free book all about those upgrades. We're going to make some recommendations about vendors. You say, hey, Jeff, I need a plumber. Well, we've got a few plumbers that are excellent, and we'd be happy to recommend those folks to you to do the work that might need to be done. We're also, for folks who make an appointment tonight, I'm going to offer to pay for a home warranty for your home. It's a free home warranty. That cost me about $700. Now I pay that at closing, but I'm guaranteed we're going to close your house because we're going to get it sold. But what does that home warranty do? That covers your home while your home is listed for that 1, 2, 3, 4 months that you put that on the market. If perhaps your air conditioning all of a sudden gives out, that home warranty covers that cost. And that's a very good blessing when you're in the middle of trying to make that move. What else does it do? It covers those costs for the buyer for an entire year once they buy the home. We'll pay for that for folks who make the appointment tonight. Okay? Second thing we'll do, and William told me not to do this, I'm too generous. I'm going to offer you to pay for that free home inspection, that pre-home inspection. That way I feel comfortable knowing that we've covered and made sure there's no major issues with the home. There's nothing that I dislike more than doing a lot of work to get ready to sell a home and then we find out when the buyer comes that there are major things that we didn't know about because we didn't get that inspection. So to make sure we help you with that, we'll pay for that. But we're only going to do that for folks who go ahead and make an appointment. You don't have to list. You're not making any commitment. But if you make an appointment tonight, go ahead and do that. We'll put that into the package for you to help sell your home. Well, there it is. Make sure you go ahead. Don't wait. Schedule that initial appointment 12 months out. But if you're looking for the spring or summer, do it really soon, okay?